Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, what's going on, family? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real, so please do me a favor. Kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On tonight's convo, I'm honored to bring back my good friend, Mr. Conrad Schesventer, host of the political YouTube show SchezzWho. We're going to be discussing just really catching up with everything happening right now in our world, man, from redistricting to election governor's races happening in Georgia, California, a popular mayoral race happening in Los Angeles. What else are we going to be hitting? So much stuff. Oh, and also, in addition to the stuff that I just mentioned earlier, we're also going to talk about, you would think when you have elected officials that are doing what they're hired to do and look out for their constituents, do their job, right? That's what they're there for. It's not to abide by a leader or a party, but it's to abide by the people. When you have folks that do so, and yeah, they might disagree with whoever's in leadership, does that cause them to lose their job? Like, I guess I'll be honest. Like, okay, in your occupation, if you have a disagreement with your boss or supervisor, you let them hurry, you bring it up. Usually supervisors or bosses, I guess in some occupations, they're like, well, I love your feedback, thank you, I'll take it to heart, I'll discuss it, think about it, yada yada yada. But they don't just flat out say, okay, we got to get them out because he's talking too much or she's talking too much. No. So I mentioned that because you have representative out of Kentucky, Thomas Massie, right, who's been a vocal critic of this administration and the president, who recently just lost his primary in Kentucky by a landslide, which he was aware. He's not going to mention it because he was still going to pursue running for re-election, but he understood that, hey, look, he was taking a huge gamble. You got Bill Cassidy, longtime senator out of Louisiana, also had spoke against or was a critic of this administration. He too was out primaried. So it's very interesting. It's almost like a mafia base. Like, okay, you insult the boss, you insult the big guy, out. We got to take him out. So it's interesting. So we're going to talk a little bit about everything on today's show. But first, as always, my friends, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, tuning into yet another great convo. This is episode 592. We're almost getting close to 600, y'all. Almost getting close to 600 shows. So couldn't do without you all. I truly appreciate the support that we've been having and continue to have. But just wanted to keep you up to speed on how y'all can tune into our show. We drop new episodes weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. So whether it's iHeart, Apple, Spotify, just name a few. We're available on all major podcast platforms. You can also listen to us in the car, on the radio. Shout out to our affiliates, KSHP out in Las Vegas, KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM. You can listen into the Arrington Gavin Show Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific. So on your way to an event, a gathering, on your way to the casino, hoping to get lucky, hey, look, be sure to tune in and change that dial to KSHP and listen into the Arrington Gavin Show, where we bring great conversations, great guests, everything you need. We got you here. Also, I want to shout out WDJY 99.1 FM, Straight Talk out of the Metro Atlanta area. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that's only on WDJY 99.1 FM, Straight Talk. And then lastly, we're going to head over to New Orleans, Who Dat Nation, WBOK 1230 a.m. You can listen into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. And then I cannot forget to mention my fam GOATverse TV. You can check out past episodes of the of the Arrington Gavin Show on the GOATverse TV app. All you have to do is download the app. It's free. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. And for those who have not done so yet, hey, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share with a friend, share with family. We have a goal to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're slowly but surely creeping up. We receive new subscribers each and every day, and we're very, very fortunate. And I love the feedback, by the way, as well. Give us a thumbs up. It helps with our algorithm. Leave us a comment if you agree, disagree. I appreciate it, because let's be honest, we're all human. We all don't agree on everything. And that's okay. If I have an opinion on something, and you're like saying, well, Aaron, I actually see it like this, I appreciate it, because sometimes you never know. I might mention it on air because I'll read it and take it into consideration. I'm like, oh, you actually do got a point there. So I love feedback. In addition to our YouTube channel, y'all, be sure to check out our awesome website, www.theagshow.com. That's another way you can stay up to speed on recent episodes and all that great stuff. And if you want to just reach out to me and say, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Hey, my name is this. I'm a fan of the show. Look, I love conversation. I love feedback. So I think that's all I got for you starting off. But man, y'all in for a treat. As I mentioned, Mr. Conrad Schesventer is back. He is a friend of the show, and we love talking politics here. We really do. It's something that is again, myself and Conrad, and I'm not going to speak for Conrad, but I know for myself, the reason why I discuss politics a lot here on this program, y'all, is because we live in a moment where we have an opportunity to just keep folks engaged, right? We're not experts, but we at least hope to provide a guide to young people to, hey, read up on issues happening in your backyard, or in your state, or in just in the nation, because a lot of people are kind of foreign when it comes to politics. I get it. Politics are not fun. Politics isn't sexy. Politics is can raise your pressure, but you have to stay up to speed and stay aware of what's happening in our world, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. And if you avoid knowledge, right, how does that help you in life? Politics is everywhere, y'all. You can run away from politics all you want to. Politics is a part of your everyday life. Gas prices, yeah, you complain about the gas. Guess what? Politics. You complain about grocery prices. Politics. You complain about potholes, or lack of sidewalks, or we don't have enough traffic lights here. Politics. Politics is everywhere, y'all. So please stop trying to run away from it, because look, life is not about being comfortable. Okay, that's just the name of the game. Politics is surrounded by we're surrounded by politics. So anyways, enough with my rambling, y'all. We are gonna head to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'll be joining with my good friend, host of SchezzWho, which I hope y'all are subscribed and tune into it on a regular on YouTube. It's an awesome show. I'm a avid listener and watcher as well, and viewer. So I hope you all are supporting. But we're going to take a commercial break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to.
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up. Yeah, this that new GOATverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of the app he said?
Introducing GOATverse TV.
GOATverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In GOATs, we trust.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs. And we're going to bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
6'10", number 1 pick, 16 seasons, College Player of the Year, All-Rookie Standout. Joe Smith built a career on grit, consistency, and showing up.
Greatness isn't just about the game. It's about how you show up every day. Rugged Evolution now offers body care products for every man, because not every man wears a beard, but every man deserves care. Greatness doesn't fade.
It evolves. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Every beard deserves to be legendary, and every man deserves care.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the show. Let me kind of adjust my screen here. Okay, that's a little better. Jeez. All right, as I mentioned earlier, I got my guy on, Mr. Conrad Schesventer, host of the political YouTube show SchezzWho, joining us right now. Mr. Schesventer, it's been a minute. How you doing, my friend?
It has been a minute. I'm doing well. I think you're doing well. I'm glad we are able to speak tonight on the hot topics of politics on this very hot May night.
It is a very, 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 it is extremely hot. And, you know, that's one thing. I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot to mention early in the program. Yeah, I have been trying to survive this heat, right? I've been slacking on, you know, yard work and stuff. And I'm like, well, you know, I meant to do it one day, but it was like 94 degrees. I'm like, yeah, not going to happen. And then I said, well, let me do it this day. It was a little warm. I'm like, yeah, not going to happen. And so I'm like, I need to get it done, right? I just need to, you know, stay hydrated, make sure I got everything. I need to do it. It's not good. It's not even like I have a large yard, bro. Like it's very short. Like it won't take me long at all. This heat it's a lot. And for those that are not familiar with just Hampton Roads and Virginia, like our heat is different. Like I've met people from Arizona.
Sticky heat.
It is very sticky. I've met people from Arizona and said it's hotter in Virginia than it is in Arizona. I'm like, I'm sorry. Don't you guys go up to like 120 degrees? So what are you talking about? But they's like, yeah, y'all got us beat. I'm like, wow. So yeah, it is definitely.
Joe Smith is 7 foot. I don't know if it's as hot up 7 feet high is that, but
did it? Yeah. I need to work on that soundbite right there. I need to get that noise going on. But no, you're absolutely right, man. And in addition to trying to survive the heat, man, I'm trying to survive these gas prices. I'm trying to survive a lot of stuff. I mean, gas, I think I saw today premium is still at, you know, $5, $5+. I think it's like $5.20 something now, or maybe still at $5.30. Mid-grade is like $4.70. Like it's expensive now. Diesel went down.
Diesel was pretty near $6, if I recall.
It is very close. Today, I think it was $5. I want to say it was very close. I'm gonna just say like $5.89. Like it's knocking on $6.
Yeah, and I work at a Kroger now, and I work in the receiving position, and that's the morning to noon type of position where all the stuff comes into the store from all the vendors. They drive big trucks, and what do those big trucks run on? The diesel. And if it's $6 and going higher, that's where we're really going to start to feel a little bit of the crunch.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, man, it's a lot, man. A lot of folks are feeling the effects, and it's just in addition with, you know, trying to just make it out here, we have very competitive elections happening, right? It's midterm season as we speak. I would say it's a redistricting battle happening across the nation. Virginia was at the helm of it for a long period. I would say we still are kind of. I actually want to share this soundbite here. This is let's see here, Mr. Blaine Stewart, who's a good buddy of mine. He's an anchor on WTKR, News Channel 3, CBS affiliate. And this was the story broke out when, so kind of let me catch folks on this first. Virginia went through this. Well, actually, let me play you the soundbite first, and then Conrad and I, we can bounce off and discuss everything from there. So let me play this for you all.
Virginia Democrats are looking at some of their other options when it comes to redistricting after the state Supreme Court struck down last month's referendum, saying the proper process was not followed. Tensions on both sides were already high ahead of the election. The proposed congressional map would have favored Democrats 10-1 this year's midterms, but because of the court's ruling, Virginia will keep the current congressional map, which favors Democrats 6-5. Democrats are asking the United States Supreme Court to overturn this decision. You can listen to part of the conversation with Scripps News Group's chief Washington correspondent Joe St. George earlier today.
Well, conservatives and Republicans watching us this morning are saying, we told you so, right? We told you, Democrats, that this was unconstitutional, this was too aggressive. Obviously, they're applauding what has transpired in recent days here. Democrats, meanwhile, they spent the weekend huddling to talk about options, to talk about the path forward, which is including an appeal to the United States Supreme Court. Now, this is a ticking clock, right? I mean, it is May.
Part of my conversation with Joe St. George this morning, Virginia Attorney General Jay Jones currently asking the Virginia Supreme Court to delay issuing this mandate. Virginia.
All right, so let's go ahead and kind of backtrack everything, my friend. So in Virginia, I remember seeing it like if it was yesterday. Senator Pro Tempore, Senator Luis Lucas, and House Speaker Don Scott came out during a press conference announcing the change in congressional maps. They had launched a referendum that there was going to be a vote on the congressional map change, the redistricting. So there's a census cycle that happens every 10 years. The census would have occurred 2030. And they wanted this to be done mid-cycle. At the time, we had a 6-5 congressional map with Democrats having the majority by a seat, and they want to push it to a 10-1. Now, I'll open the floor personally. Conrad, I understood. First of all, I hate gerrymandering. Let me just be frank. I'm not a fan of gerrymandering at all. I understood the reason behind it, because you have an administration that has been contacting states to ask for extra congressional seats because, well, they see that is not looking too good for them. Special elections was not in their favor. They were losing seats. They still had the majority, but it was very, very, very close. So now when you start panicking, you start thinking of strategies. How can we, can continue having the power in the House? And so I understood the reason. Was I a fan of it? Absolutely not. Am I a fan of it? No. Now, that being said, 10-1 I thought was a stretch. Now 8-3, okay. I just feel like 8-3 would still be kind of pushing it, but not as far as 10-1. Again, I'm looking at somebody who is I can picture somebody that is not as involved with how the political cycle runs, or a little more familiar with the backstory behind it, and they just say, okay, if they're campaigning on fair elections, it's 6-5. Doesn't that seem kind of fair? And you have the majority. Doesn't that seem kind of fair? So you want a 10-1? That doesn't seem so fair. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Conrad. But what was your thoughts when this first was announced of the congressional map change?
Well, I would have to very much admit that I was kind of feeling that I knew I was going to vote yes. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I was going to vote yes is due to if you want to say it's emotional response to seeing other states outside of Virginia do this too, and who were the ones that were doing it. Largely big red states like Texas, Missouri did theirs. Then again, you see the response, and you see California do theirs. New York tried to do it too, but their Supreme Court, just like our Supreme Court, struck their efforts down.
Yep.
So the weeks and months leading into this, I was really big into being yes, because I wanted to respond to the Republican efforts to rig their states to be even redder than it already was.
Yeah.
But then again, I remember what that guy, probably clearly a Republican, said in the clip that you shared from Blaine Stewart's reporting that, hey, I could have told you so. It was clearly unconstitutional. I'm like, I had one of those little faces because I know that that's not exactly going to be something they 100% support all the times as constitutional efforts in the state or national. But when it comes to something that supports their efforts, then yeah, they would very much like to be constitutional, and vice versa. The Democrat side, and I know you and I have a strong independent streak ourselves, but on the Democrat side, who I've been voting for a lot more lately, that is nonetheless their version of partisanship, because that's what they were trying to do, even though they sort of drug the Republicans kicking and screaming in 2020 and 2021 into voting for an amendment to allow the nonpartisan commission to draw the district maps here in the state of Virginia, which coincidentally, state senator at the time, Jen Kiggins, was against, though she is now very much for efforts to stop gerrymandering in the state of Virginia, because it's the Democrats, the ones who were doing it. So in the end, did I want, yes, to win? Yes. The reason why I wanted it to win was to counter the federal efforts of Republicans to gerrymander their way to more seats, because I think they see the writing on the wall this November, and they're trying to preserve their majority. In the end, they lost, and it is rather clear. I know I could say, hey, that's a very conservative Supreme Court here in the state of Virginia, just like it was a very conservative Supreme Court of the United States, which didn't even want to hear the Virginia case, shot that down. That in that effort, I could try to hate on that, though I don't really think I could, because the process is what they pointed to make their decision here in the state of Virginia, that the Democrats didn't follow the right way. I think there was a lot of timing that needed to go correct in order to do it correct. I don't think they said in their decision that we can't have Virginia have a 10-1 system. You just got to do the process the right way. So they used the process, how to shoot it down. And in the end, here we are.
That's right. And it's you mentioned voting in favor of it, as a counter of what's happening on a federal level. And I brought up that point to, I've spoken with Democratic voters who wasn't a fan of it, right? And I countered the argument to them saying, okay, let me play devil's advocate here. If you continue to be on the side of the Democrats don't have a backbone, where's their fight at? Where's this? Where's that? I'm like, this is a prime example of fighting fire with fire. And when I had the opportunity to speak with Senator Angela Williams Graves, and she had said, look, what we're doing is also being the example to other states to be like, hey, look, don't be scared of this administration. Stop being scared of this administration. You have to do, this is fighting fire with fire in a sense. And I know there was other states that ignored, even red states. I don't know if it was Kentucky or Indiana that had ignored or decided not to pursue congressional map changes after Indiana, and which a lot of folks applause. They're like, okay, boom, that's respect for them being a red state. You still said no, that's not how we roll. I wish there were more that would follow them. But yeah, you have Texas, you have soon to be Louisiana, Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee's is crazy, by the way, because you have what they already had an 8-1 and now there's 9-0, like all Republican. Like it's insane over there. You have I think I mentioned Missouri, North Carolina, Florida is looking to which I've a former guest on your program, Angie Nixon, who's running for U.S. Senate. She went viral with the megaphone at the chambers when it was announced that they would be. So again, it's happening everywhere, right? Everybody is trying to kiss the ring of this president to hopefully get the majority of seats out there. Going back to Virginia, though, and I'll expand more on just what's happening in other states. But Virginia, what frustrated me, I guess, is why after over 3 million people voted in favor of this, the voters said, like, hey, look, we want to see the change. Supreme Court says, bump what the voters say. we're not doing it, and we're going to keep it at 6-5. To me, that's when, all right, you're losing people. Like whatever happened to, again, just a fair race, the majority rule, and they spoke on it. That moment right there is a reason why, and I've brought this in conversation with some friends of mine. I think we should have elections to elect judges. Personally, I don't think it should be appointed. I think we should elect judges. Would it be, would we start seeing judges campaign? Would you see Democratic Party endorse it? Probably, but at the end of the day, it's like for something like this, I think it's very unfair. I mean, you're taking gerrymandering alone is already taking power out of the votes, but I mean, this is really just saying, well, we do not care. I mean, at the end of the day, the voters lost. I'll just put it like that. After it was done, to me, I'm like, the voters lost. It's clear to like you had mentioned, which party is in power is normally why it's okay. Let's do this, or the opposing party is like, this is wrong, but if their party's in power, this is right, and the whole back and forth. Yeah. So I with the strike down of that, I was extremely frustrated with the Supreme Court out here. What was your thoughts after hearing about that? That they struck it down and just said, no, we're going to keep it until the census. Like, well, yeah, keep it basically,
which is what the wording on the amendment was in the first place. Hey, we're doing this as a temporary measure until the next census, and then it will naturally go back to the independent commission. Nonetheless, the Supreme Court stuck it down. And yeah, I was upset to say the least, because we as Virginia have a 6-5 Democrat versus Republican situation at the moment. Sure, at the moment, Democrats have the majority of the state in representation, but it could have been more, and the more was specifically requested, and I felt it in my heart and my mind that I wanted it to have more to counter what was seen as a rigging process from other red states. Because I didn't think that would have been a natural, democratically popular way to have Republicans have the majority, is to rig the entire country. And it came roughly within either the same week or 2 weeks of the Supreme Court of the United States gutting the Voting Rights Act, which came at the expense of districts that were created to help preserve the black vote over the years.
Yeah.
And it's like a double punch to the heart of someone like myself, who isn't the most fond of Republican policy and what I might view as a bend toward authoritarianship that I haven't appreciated over the past several years. And I really wanted the Democrats to put up the fight, as you mentioned, to try to counter that. And I'm glad to see at least they tried. They didn't do it, I guess, in the smartest way or the fastest way. Perhaps they needed to do it even quicker to get out in advance of the election season, if you will, because they even had to defend in court that election day is election day. It's not the election season.
Yeah,
they provided the mechanism with which the Republicans to turn it down, and they had the power in the court to do so. I come out from that just a little depressed at the results, but nonetheless still fighting.
What do you think? In a sense, now that has been done, does the Democrats, do you think that they even, is there any options for them, or is it just basically like, hey, look, gonna just have to wait until the 2030? I mean, like, do they have any options? I know on that clip that I played earlier, they had mentioned that Attorney General Jay Jones had asked for something to be paused. Which, I mean, what's that really gonna do in a sense? You know what I mean? It's still gonna be 6-5. It's still 6-5. Which,
barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
He knows they're not going to listen. And I can give a cool point, possibly 2 cool points to Jay Jones for doing that. It's just, we know what the result's going to be, because who is the one listening? A heavily conservative state of Virginia court, a heavily conservative United States Supreme Court. And on the Virginia level, that is, I think they were pointing out the rule that not only was the timing wrong, but according to the Constitution of the state of Virginia, there needed to be like an election in between the attempts to try to do this. So if you officially acknowledge that, hey, we're going to create a session to try to create an amendment to even temporarily overturn the commission so we can draw our own districts. There needed to have been an election before the election to allow the voters to do that, and there wasn't. Again, that comes down to a timing aspect. And can we even then try to do it now, saying, hey, the Supreme Court of the United States said you can't create districts that are racially favorable to the black population or the white population, but they didn't say that you couldn't do it on a party line basis.
Yeah.
And if you could do it on a party line basis, okay, Virginia's like, we could then try to do the same thing all over again. And are they going to have time to do it between late May 2026 and November of 2026? There's not an election in between the two. I don't think they have an option.
Yeah, I think the same way, my friend. On the, I guess for the Democrats, on the plus side, they have two very competitive races happening that they could possibly, win over 2 seats. That is District 1, which is currently held by Rob Whitman. I always want to say Rob Whitman. And then you have District 2, second congressional district, Jen Kiggins. As far as for Whitman, I've had on a number of candidates running against him in that district. A lot of them are very sharp, not gonna lie. There's and it's a very packed race, by the way. I mean, it's a very packed primary. I've spoken with 2 so far on this program. I've had Tim Sawinski on,
and Elizabeth Dempsey.
Yep, had both of them on, very sharp. You have
I've had 2 on my show. I've had Erica Kopp and Salam Bhatti, to which case perhaps we should commingle and create a Arrington Gavin Show /SchezzWho of just the primary candidates of District 1. And that seems like a cool idea to me.
Could happen. And then you have Commonwealth Attorney out of Henrico and former Shannon Taylor, who also ran for Attorney General in the Democratic primary against Jay Jones. So she's also involved. She's also running in that race as well. So a very competitive race, trying to unseat Rob Whitman. Now, going to the second congressional district, I'll be honest. Jen Kiggins has an uphill battle, and I think it was before the this interview that went out recently, because for me, I felt like I was seeing, if I drove down where her office is in Town Center in Virginia Beach, I saw so many protesters on a regular. That's always, and they were veterans. So I think it was already rocky for her. And yeah, that's politics. You're going to see your, protesters from time to time, but this was different, right? The numbers were getting larger. The demonstrators, I would say, was people that looked like I won't say look like, but probably voted for her beforehand, because again, you saw how we had a lot of veterans in the Commonwealth in Hampton Roads that was not a fan of the strategies and what was going on in Washington. So you had that. Then to top it off, you have this interview that she had in Richmond with this conservative talk radio host, Rich Herrera is the gentleman's name, WRVA, and he used the phrase talking about Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Leader, Representative Hakeem Jeffries out of New York. Get your cotton picking hands. And you would think, as somebody that is an elected official, that's supposed to be, with respecting dignity and this and that and the other,
serves alongside him,
would say, hold on, let me stop you right there. Yeah, we agreed that we are on 2 opposing party sides, but at the end of the day, that rhetoric I will not condone that. I mentioned on my show, almost like for the late Senator John McCain, right? John McCain stopped a lady who was talking ill about then Senator Barack Obama, who then went on to become president. She stopped her right there. And that's good, not just sportsmanship, but that's the politics that I miss. Not so much divisiveness happening. But no, Jen Kiggins said, yeah, ditto. And she laughed about it. So I think right now she has an uphill battle for her race. So that's when I say those are the 2 competitive, and they're not, district is not all the way overly red. It's not overly blue. It really is a purple district. Now Whitman, on the other hand, I feel like I
think his is more red.
His is definitely more red. But they're saying it's a competitive one. So
which should tell you a little bit about too, in the sense that after the last redistricting effort, Elaine Luria was Congresswoman from 2018 to 20 prior to the 2020 census. And then they created the new shift in the district afterwards with the commission creating the districts. And it became a little bit more red than it was. And she would end up losing to Jen Kiggins.
Yeah.
But one thing you sort of notice with two is that it sways a lot more. It has been known to go from Republican to Democrat, then back to Republican, then Democrat. And it seemingly, especially if you have like a big movement behind it. I forgot the guy, not Scott Taylor, who was, but I think it was another Scott Ridgel.
Scott Ridgel, yes.
Came in with the Tea Party wave.
Yep, and he was one of the I would say he was one of the OGs that was an anti-Trump Republican. That's really what hurt his chances on running for re-election. And so he's been very, he's enjoying retirement. You rarely see Scott or hear from Scott.
He's also kind of well off, so he could
he's good. He's like, I don't need this. But there's a lot of them that are well off. They still want to, be seen from time to time. But no, I wanted to throw that out there. So Virginia is still, going to be competitive, but at the end of the day, Democrats did take the L as far as with the redistricting win for the Republicans. But look, happening in other states, we have Tennessee that was really intense. I think I might have well, actually, let me see if I can find that soundbite of where they voted on that. And you had a number of people at the chambers protesting. I mean, you had some elected officials out in Tennessee holding the Trump flag. And I mean, going in, they were happy. They were loud and proud about it too. And I think I'm gonna just play a little bit of this clip right here about what was happening.
Protests didn't stop Republicans from approving a new map Thursday that carves up the state's sole Black majority congressional district in Memphis. It is.
So, I mentioned it was going to be very short, but I just want them to mention that key part. They were cutting out the sole Black district in the state of Tennessee, Memphis. And you had state legislator, Justin Pearson, who's
also running for Congress.
And he's still in the race. I know the incumbent has dropped out. I'm blanking on his name, but he's a longtime congressman, Democrat out of Tennessee. He recently just dropped out his reelection bid. And because for him, he's like, I know it's going to be tough. But hey, you got Pearson saying, nope, I'm staying in the race. He's young. He's very, very, very vocal.
For what it's worth, he has the support of the Justice Democrats, which is the organization that helped the 2018 squad get the power. So.
Very true, very true. And it was a shame when you heard, but I'm reaching out to some of my Tennessee contacts to have them on to get more insight and for them to share exactly what's going on in Tennessee, because going from an 8-1 to a 9-1, like why even bother? Like that's a prime example. You have an 8-1 and you literally say, now let's do 9-0. So I don't know how accurate this stat is, Conrad, but I wanted to kind of show just a current stat of how the Republicans are doing right now with this redistricting in their favor. So we already have Texas right here. They've added on 5 seats for them. Missouri added 1, North Carolina added 1, Ohio it looks like might have added 1 or losing 2 in addition to that. We have New York there. We already had California. Florida's talking about doing it. Kansas, Nebraska. I mean, there's a number of states that are working as hard as they can to do to redistrict before the midterms, because again, these midterms are getting extremely competitive
and expensive.
Oh, what? I mean, look, in Virginia alone, you're talking about mailers and just. I mean, I was so overwhelmed and exhausted. I made a post saying, I feel like I'm collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards with these mailers, man. I had 6 yeses and 7 no's, and I'm like, hey, you got any more? And they were all different ones, by the way. They weren't like 2 of the same. They were all different ones. I'm just like, you're killing me. Every time I'm watching TV, I see somebody talking about I'm voting in favor for the yes or voting in favor for the no. So it's really exhausting. It's really exhausting. But that being said, Conrad, because I want to move on to another thing while we looking at my time. Overall, do you think the redistricting will help the Republicans after these midterms? Because as I mentioned, special elections, they have been losing very, very poorly. But has this helped them? Do you see the Democrats still, turning, a good turnout for the left to win some seats in the midterms? I mean, what's your take on this whole redistricting battle happening?
Here's an interesting way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It may not help them in 2026.
Okay.
It may help them in 2028. It may help them in 2030. I don't know what the American populace, the whims of it, is going to look like come 2028 or 2030. But I do know right now it's a pretty big anti-Trump movement right now. Mm-hmm. So even trying to cook the books and make the Republican majority as it is now, which is very tight, maybe 1 to 5 seats in total if everyone was in Congress. And I say that because since the swearing in this year, several have died, several have dropped out. Congress is not even at its full 435 in membership right now. But again, the margin was very tight to begin with.
Very true.
Yeah, let's say they gain 5 to 10 overall seats. That might help them keep a very tight majority. But it feels like nationwide there's so much animus against the Republican Party that even with a redistricted set of states that become more Republican on a map, the populace didn't actually, become more Republican, and they spread out those districts a little thinner to try to grab out more Republicans in other districts to make each district a little bit redder when the support for Republicans is dropping, which means they've created districts that are a little more competitive than they otherwise would have been. It, in theory, could mean they might actually lose a little bit more than they otherwise were going to lose. The trick is if, let's say, the Democrats have a big November, turn the House completely blue and possibly even the Senate blue as well, we can forget a lot of things and start thinking and feeling a lot of different ways in politics come another 2 years from now. But the districts didn't change.
Yeah.
So they would come back to possibly being more Republican as soon as 2 years after that.
Yeah.
So maybe it didn't help them this year, but I think it definitely helps a long-term thought if nothing else changes.
Look, I hear you on that one, man. Look, I want to digress from this conversation and move on to politics happening in the state of California. So 2 major elections that has been spoken for on a national level. So governor's race has been, I would say, extremely juicy, right? Okay, it started off, you had Eric Swalwell, congressman out there, literally being the front runner, not just in the Democratic primary, but possibly even the next governor of the state. Scandal happened, and he not only dropped out of the race, he has dropped out for the most part. Well, he's still in, I believe so. But yeah, I mean, it has. I mean, a fall from grace for a so-called rising star in the in the political space. So that was a huge. No one saw that coming. In California, you have 2 Republicans. You have Steve Hilton, who is a political commentator, Fox News contributor, businessman. He ran, if I'm not mistaken, before for governor, but he came up short to Larry Elder. Larry Elder at the time was the nominee, and he lost against Newsom.
Larry Elder being a talk show host, if I recall.
Yep, talk show host, very popular conservative talk show host out of California. Then you have Chad Bianco, a former sheriff in California. Those are your two Republicans. Then on the Democratic side, you have Xavier Becerra, who is a former Biden cabinet member. You have Katie Porter, who's a former congresswoman out of California. You have Mayor, I think it's Mahan, who is a mayor out of San Jose. And then there's another mayor, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say from San Francisco. I'm blanking on his name.
It's also the former LA mayor.
Yes. Okay. There we go. Former LA mayor. There we go. So I think that's what it was. I'm not San Francisco, but former LA mayor. So those are, and then Tom Steyer. Can't forget Tom Steyer. So who ran for president, a billionaire. Tom Steyer, by the way, ran for president. Not quite successful. Now he's running for governor in California.
Our good friend Mr. Marcus helped him.
Very true. Very true. That's right. Shout out to Marcus. So man, I've been talking a lot about this race. I told up my audience this. I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if California gets a new, not just a new governor, but a Republican governor, and the first one since Schwarzenegger, because Katie Porter already, was very controversial with the video of her yelling at a staffer. There's a previous interview where she was, getting really snarky, in my opinion, with the reporter, who's literally saying, "Look, I've asked the same question to every candidate. Why are you giving?" Like, she wasn't even asking in a rude way. So I'm not a fan of Katie Porter at all, personally.
People don't like bullies.
Of course they don't. I mean, when the whole party is, continue to talk about the bully in Washington, why are you? I mean, that's just my honest opinion, especially the state of California being the most liberal state in the United States. It's like, I don't see that being a good strategy to help her out. Is she a fighter? Yes, but that whole verbal abuse, man, with a staffer, like, I don't like bullies. Becerra, coming from a Biden administration, he's right now leading. He's the leading Democrat. But it's just what is helping the Republicans right now, and Republicans meaning Steve Hilton is like the front runner for on the Republican side. But what's helping him out is the fact that, all the issues happening in California that's been going on, right? Wildfires, costs, homeless, X, Y, and Z, for the most part, has always been under Democratic leadership. So that's kind of ammunition that they continue to mention. And you have a lot of folks that are frustrated, residents that are frustrated with what is happening. I don't see Tom Steyer being a contender, really.
It's not the best year for billionaires.
It's not. And it's just, I see him as just being like just another popular donor, but not someone that can say, "Hey, look, I can run this. I did this with my business." People are not they got to find something they can be relatable to with these elected officials. So that being said, very competitive, but I would just say I think it's going to go to a Republican.
And here's how. They have an interesting primary system in California.
Very true.
Looking it up, I think even Cato Institute and such, with a recent link I read on it, they call it like a top 2 primary system. So how does that work out? If you were just listing off the candidate names, and there was a lot of Democrats. There's also a lot of Republicans. I think it wasn't just those two. There are more than that. It's just those are the two in the Republican Party who are probably outshining the other ones.
Fairly popular. Yeah,
have a lot of people who have name recognition in that state, so they are definitely punching with each other, and not the Republicans. And the top 2 system is not, say, the top 2 Democrats win and then take on the top 2 Republicans. It's whoever. It's like they're all running in the same primary. So whoever finishes in the top 2 of the primary among multiple party participations, then goes on to face each other in the general in November, to which case it's theoretically possible, if so much Democrat support is split up relatively evenly, then you can fall down to the Republican level of support, and they would outrank where the other Democrats finished in their respective part of the primary. You could actually have 2 Republicans versing each other in the general election, and naturally you're going to have a Republican win in that situation. I know we like to hear or don't like to hear our president say that X, Y, and Z is rigged because he said so many things are rigged. That's kind of like a weird rigging of the system that's how it goes. But in the end, that's how they've designed it. So that it gives a decent advantage to Republicans if they're not splitting as much between themselves. And so many Democrats are splitting amongst themselves that even in a state where they successfully got more blue seats in an already heavily blue state, they could lose the governorship on paper pretty easily.
Yeah, very true. I'm looking at my time. I wanted to talk a little bit about the LA mayoral race and the governor's race, but I'm gonna skip over those two and go straight to what had recently happened with two very popular names, well at the time popular voices in the Republican Party. U.S. Senate, longtime Louisiana U.S. Senate Senator Bill Cassidy and Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie, both who were very vocal critics against Donald Trump, vocal critics of Donald Trump and the administration. Both were out primary. Now, I bring this up, y'all, because even though, yes, they're out, right? So it kind of shows that in their very red cities, yeah, Trump still has some pull, right? And also, we mentioned earlier, real quick, Conrad, in Texas, Trump has endorsed Paxson, who's running
against John Cornyn.
Against John, who's another longtime guy. I wouldn't say Cornyn is a critic, but he's not overly like supportive either. I wouldn't call him a MAGA mouthpiece per se, but seeing the overall signs of, okay, you piss off the president, then you're out, right? How does that affect 2028? So I'm giving you a multi question here. So that being said, how does that affect 2028? And by a chance, who are your contenders? Who are your top three or top contenders on the right and on the left come 2028 for for president, if you had to pick some?
I like how we say on the right and on the left, because I do personally feel like the more Republican brand nationally is more to the right than they were. Heck, when you think about Mitt Romney, he was not nearly as to the right as what they seem to be right now, and he's relatively recent. And I think back to Vice President Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, the two big, and Biden was in there, he won. They don't seem like very far left individuals, that they were nonetheless Democrats, but not very far left. So the left versus right is not exactly how I would phrase, but nonetheless, to answer the question, who would I see as, say, a top three on the national level for each is, to be honest, I have not spent as much time thinking about it as I probably should have. Because
I mean to catch you off guard, because I know we're running a little short on time. And if you don't mind, I'd love to chop it up with you just for a couple minutes after this show. But I think it's hard, Conrad, because there are no contenders. I mean, I'm sorry, and I'll be honest. I personally don't see. I can picture names that they would support, like the party would support, but I don't see contenders that the people would stand by for president in the Democratic side or in the Republican side. Personally, I really don't. Like, I can't.
Yeah, because the Republicans had a personality cult behind theirs. Of course, they got out support for theirs because they really liked Trump. Democrats, what are we known for? And I do say we, as a more recent Democrat voter, begrudgingly supporting our candidates as opposed to being very gung-ho. Who would I want to feel very gung-ho about supporting in 2 years? Let's say I'm more on the left in the Democrat Party. I want to be very gung-ho even about Bernie Sanders. He's older than Trump, if I recall. So you would have to have someone who's like half his age that we would like. So that comes down to, do we like the concept of an AOC running for president? I thought she might quicker run for Senate in the state of New York, but decided against it. I think this was the year to do it. Is that the type that would generate a lot of the youth joining in voting? I have yet to see it, because I was thinking would there be a lot of public support on the Democrat side for like Pete Buttigieg? Probably not. Josh Shapiro, probably not. I don't know.
It's hard.
I feel like I don't know at the moment.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's a fair answer because I've said I think the party will be silly to push Gavin Newsom personally. I don't think it's a great strategy to have anybody from the state of California to try and run for president. It's no shot at California. They're the wealthiest state really in the United States, so that can be, I guess, looked into consideration as, oh, well, they might have successful, but look how that has look at the outcome of that, right? The homeless is a serious issue. There's a lot of, I'm personally not a Newsom fan. I mean, when they had the wildfires happening, the man promoted like his new podcast. Like I'm not a fan of current elected officials with radio shows or podcasts. Now, if he was a former, go ahead. I mean, make your money. You're not involved anymore. But that being said, I don't see anybody really coming from California that would be a successful candidate. Obviously, I'm a huge Maryland. Westmore.
Yeah.
Moore is a sharp guy. I would like. I know he's mentioned he's running for re-election in Maryland, so I would like for him to do another term there, and then let's kind of go back to maybe he will be because he's someone that's respected by both sides.
Remember, President Obama had only done about a year and a half of his first Senate term before running for president.
Yeah, that is well. You know what? But I to Conrad, and to add to your point, I mean, you have a point with Westmore. I mean, when the stock value is hot, or prospect value is really hot, it's like get it while it's hot before it slowly but surely drops. I think that's where I think Kamala Harris' time is done. I think Josh Shapiro possibly is done. It's going to be hard for a Buttigieg, as successful, as intelligent and a great candidate he would be.
Doesn't generate a lot of support.
Well, and just the sad thing is, America is, I won't say they're not. Well, look, I'm a realist. America, it would be hard to see the first openly gay and him and his husband to be in the White House. And that's sad. I hate to say it, but reality will show that if you do a stat sheet, they will say, oh yeah, we're not. But it's a shame because obviously me and you would love to see that because it's change. It's that's called growth in our community. Yeah, I don't see anybody on the left. Now on the right, I mean, yeah, you might see JD. Oh gosh, I mean, yeah, but is JD even a successful elected official?
I don't know. Vivek could run again because
Rubio. I think Rubio will be
the Ohio primary.
Better. I think Rubio will be better than
is
JD.
A solid statesman in the way we try to look at it on paper. He's been a senator. He's run for president. Didn't really do well when he was running for president, but became the Secretary of State.
Very true.
That's a very prominent position, even though we don't really like him. So in theory, he should have it laid out ahead of him, but
yeah,
I don't know. Those are the only names we thought of.
Yeah. Conrad, man, I wish we had another hour or 2 hours, but I want to thank you for taking the time out your busy schedule, coming here on the show for a conversation. Folks, please do me a favor, subscribe, follow SchezzWho right now on YouTube. It's an awesome show. Like I said, I'm a viewer, I'm a fan. Subscribe, tune into it. It's very, very, very informative.
Thank you for that. And I also say subscribe to the Arrington Gavin Show. Let's get to 5,000.
Yes, let's do it, my friends. Let's do it. Conrad, do not go anywhere, my friend. I want to chop it up with you just for a little bit more after this show. But again, I thank you, my friend, for coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right, my friends. Look, I hope you enjoyed yet another great convo here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, stay safe out there, stay informed, and I will talk to you soon for another great conversation on the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.